And then we had the big main event,
which saw Bron Breakker, the son of Rick Steiner and a nephew of Scott Steiner, defend the NXT Championship against JD McDonagh, formerly known as Jordan Devlin,
yes,
and Ilja Dragunov in a triple threat.
That JD McDonagh was actually trained by Finn Balor.
He's a good worker, that guy.
He was very good. As a matter of fact, I actually, and I'm just looking at the scores, actually that was my highest rated match of the night. I thought they were all good workers, but McDonagh was very, very good.
Technically the best guy there.
Technically, yeah. That Dragunov.
I love him.
He's good.
The fury, the
he
emotion.
He flaps around a bit like a fish out of water sometimes. Yeah, when he's flapping around. I don't know about that bit. But honestly, any one of those three could have won, and it wouldn't have been a bad thing.
No. The JD McDonagh, right, is probably technically, when I was watching him, I saw about 4 or 5 different guys, styles when I was watching, like there's a bit of friggin' from Dynamite Kid all the way through to AJ Styles, in different things that he'd done, looks, positions, physique-wise, reminded me a lot of Benoit.
Yes,
physique-wise, and that's still in the way he stands and the way he walks. It says there's a lot of guys, and there's something about the guy too when he works that you want to watch him.
Yeah,
right? You're not waiting for the next thing that's going to happen. Ilja Dragunov, it's his motion. His emotion and the way he sells to the crowd.
His facial expression.
Yeah. Even when he sells something, when he gets hit, he sells it like he's been shot with a gun. Guys, like I said, one of the best matches I've seen in recent times was him versus Gunther. Walter back then.
Oh.
What a match. I mean, seriously, it's probably one of the best matches I've seen,
But there's something to be
20 years.
All those European and British wrestlers.
Oh, yeah. They
have a whole different... They've actually got... The thing I love about them, and I go way, way back, and I've seen some of the greats from Irish Pat Barrett in the 70s and your Les Thorntons and people like that. But there is something about... They're technically extremely sound. Yep. And because they're so sound, they can incorporate anything into it a bit, but and they're good. Like they're technicians.
Yeah, they are, and that's what
William Regal and people like all of those. They're fantastic.
Fit Finlay, which is a guy that I absolutely love. Fit Finlay, and was the other guy? Billy Robinson, which was another guy who's still watching.
He was.
Carl Gotch was another guy that was originally from Germany that went across to England, right? And just brilliant workers.
And that's Zach Taylor. Was it Taylor?
Yeah.
Zach Taylor? Or?
Yeah, Zach. Zach Taylor, the guy that just recently was.
The one who used to partner with Regal and Finlay in WCW. Was it something Taylor? Was it?
Yeah, you're right too.
You know the one I mean?
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was the guy who trained Stone Cold. I think in the end, trained Austin. I think he was. Yeah.
Okay.
But also too, we had that other English fellow, Zach. He was at AEW. He wrestled on one of their pay-per-views.
Oh, yes.
But he's technically as sound as you'll ever get.
Yeah.
Just really, really good. And then you got the brute power of Steiner, and Steiner comes from a wrestling background too. Yeah. So he's with his dad and his uncle. And you see that if you look at him, you could have dropped him into that tag team 20 years ago.
Yeah.
He just replaced 1 for 1 sort of thing. He's like the third Demolition member.
Yeah.
So, all 3 of these guys should be up in the main roster. Reality, they're that good. They're, and any time they want to get up there, for me, I gave it 8 out of 10 this match. I loved it. It saved the card.
Yeah.
For me, it saved the card.
I loved it. I thought it was a good. Well, there was no real. It wasn't gimmicky. Because there was probably nothing left you could gimmick anyway.
No.
But good, strong, solid match. 3 great workers. no botches, no obvious, setups as such. Just good, just a good, hard contest.
It looked like everybody wanted to win the belt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just there to make the numbers up.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a great match all the way through.
Yeah, agree 100%. I think it was fantastic. What about you, young Anthony?
No, I absolutely love this match. The one thing that I will say was probably a bit of a negative was at the end of last week's NXT episode, Austin Theory came out teasing a cash-in.
Say that again? Austin Theory came out at the last NXT.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh.
And teased the cash-in. Now, I was thinking that maybe at the end, that Theory would run in. Now, I was wrong.
Well, hasn't his dollar devalued since Vince is gone?
Yeah, he's not getting the push he was getting, is he?
No. I don't know that if I was Triple H and all that, I don't know that I would totally go off the kid.
No, not at all. And it was not his fault that Vince took a liking to him.
No,
he is probably with Steiner Jr., I'm not sure about the age of Ilja Dragunov or JD McDonagh, but they're the guys that are coming through.
Yeah.
They're the guys that are probably in their early to mid-20s that are coming through with Walter or with Gunther, and that kind of thing. Because, I don't know the exact age of Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins and that, but they would be in their 30s. They'd have to be.
Oh, absolutely. They'd have to be.
So the next lot of guys that are coming through, we just spoke about Apollo Creed. He ain't got it. Good worker, but ain't got it. So you got to start now looking for the younger guys.
Well, yeah, you got to regenerate. A bit like, and I use it as a very good example, I think. But like, for example, in our footy, like what Richmond's done, they're starting to get all their superstars again, and they're bringing the kids in, but trying to still maintain the level. And they're just calling it, well, we've got to keep regenerating the list.
Yeah.
And they do. They've got to just feed them in slowly, get them up to a point where the others can drop off. And then there's another batch. It's a bit like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, you got to. And you got to keep changing
keep your roster fresh. And
one of the biggest negatives about WWE is how long they keep talent.
Well, some talent, like
Sheamus. I don't think Sheamus is working better than he has ever in his career.
Yeah.
But he's been around for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like a long time to hang around. Yeah, I think I think you got to rotate your talent a bit. That's why you like to see ROH kick off, and you like to see AEW kick off, and you like to see either NWA or TNA kick off. So some of these elite guys can go there, get out of being working, in WWE, do 2 or 3 years there, then move back across. You know what I'm saying? So it refreshes the talent.
Yeah.
Come with a new coat of paint and get back on there, because 15 years is a long time. To be on TV for the same thing. That's like days of our lives shit.
Well, of course, you've got Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton are not far away.
No,
they're both back shortly.
And if they're smart, as soon as they get the opportunity, they should look at hiring MJF and Wardlow from AEW.
I believe there are some talks apparently with this MJF. Now, I've never seen them. I'm telling you what I sort of hear and read, but and of course Charlotte Flair's getting a big push, and she will be back. And interestingly enough, Raw on Monday night is from, not that she lives there, but from Charlotte, North Carolina, where Ric Flair's from. Now, whether there's anything in that or not, I don't know, but she's certainly due back any minute.
Yeah, and they need to start freshening up. Like MJF, he's if you're going to compare him to anyone, he's comparable to Rod Piper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. On the mic.
We've seen a bit of that, haven't we?
Yeah, and he can talk up a storm, and he can back it up in the ring too. He's a good enough worker in the ring to back it up. does the whole, removes the shirt and everything else, and a bit like what Rod Piper used to be, very Rod Piper-like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Crown Jewel in 2 weeks, so we'll know, and that'll be, on a Sunday our time, very early in the morning, but we can just get up and watch it, and then we'll do another review in a fortnight on that.
Well, it'd be very interesting to see what happens with the Logan Paul.
Well, he's not going to win.
I don't know if he'll win. I don't think he's going to win it.
No.
But I would dare say that there'd be good money in them having him get very, very close.
Oh, absolutely. He won't be disgraced.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the Bloodline or Sammy or whatever. They'll cause either a disqualification. Maybe Roman gets disqualified.
Maybe. But it'd be definitely...
wins, but he doesn't win the belts.
Be very beneficial to him in the long run to let him have a good showing in that.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think they're going to I assume it's going to main event. Even though you've got Lashley and Brock Lesnar, which for me would be the main event. But
yeah, that's true, because they're two bigger names.
Because if they come on a semi-main and do a really good match, it puts a lot of pressure on Reigns and Logan Paul. Especially
if they go in there and they go for a very shoot style. Because they're both ex-MMA fighters.
Yeah, true.
So if they go in there with that idea that where is it at?
Saudi Arabia,
they love that kind of thing.
Surely to goodness, let's make a prediction. Surely to goodness, they won't open with Lesnar and Lashley. Because the last time in Saudi Arabia was Edge and Rollins.
In that bloody cage match.
Yeah, first up.
It killed the show.
Yeah. Would they do that again? I suppose we'll have to wait and see. In 2 weeks' time, we can say yes or no.
I think their sheik there that brings them in has a little bit of say how it works.
Well, mate, if a guy's paid me $30 million to bring a crew over, I'll do whatever he wants to.
Yeah, so it might all depend what he wants.
Yeah.
Where he wants things at. I don't know if I'd start off with Leslie and
I wouldn't.
And I don't know whether I'd start off with Logan Paul or that
either. You couldn't. No, surely not.
I don't think I'd start off. But
they're likely to do something silly, so it'll be interesting once we see the card, we should all pick what we think will open, and then we'll see if we were right on the night.
I reckon they'll start off with it. What's that other? Is it Duvari? What's the other? Not the one that's not Mansoir.
Mansoir.
I don't think I'll start with Mansoir.
Or Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, I reckon he'll be in the opener with someone else.
Probably Rollins.
Maybe it'd be something like that, I reckon.
Well, if Mansoir goes over with that character, they'll behead him over there.
Yeah, they're not going to like it over there.
No, not at all.
But I think that I reckon it'd be
Quincy over there. He'll never come back.
No, that's a weird one, that Quincy, isn't it? That's a weird.
I've never seen him before last week.
He can't work.
No.
I watched him wrestle last week, and he got no idea. I don't know how he's got there. He must be like.
Obviously
is he the stepson of friggin' Booker T? I don't know.
Oh no, I don't think that. No, Booker T was a wee bit disparaging about him in the commentary tonight. I don't know if you took any notice. Vic Joseph said something, and Booker T, I think she might have shown a little bit of his homophobia or something, but I can't remember the comment other than he wasn't impressed.
I don't mind the whole him acting. Well, he hasn't actually said he's gay. But acting as a super diva and that.
What man calls himself a super diva?
I got no issue with any of that. Right?
I couldn't get less, but
issue with how he works. He's shit. I think it's great if you want to portray that character, you can pull it off. Like Adrian Street, which is another English guy we didn't mention, right? It's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
He was
right, and he was he pushed that role to the limit.
Even Gorgeous George to a certain degree back in that era when it was very non-PC to
If you can work though, and the crowd's getting hot at you, and the crowd's getting hot at you over it, and you're doing your job, I've got no issue with that, And even if you are that way inclined, that's your business.
Who cares?
But the other guy that does that, we watched him the other day. Oh, Jesus. What's the guy for AEW, Anthony? ROH.
Oh, Dalton Castle.
Dalton Castle. You got to check this guy out. Dalton Castle and the boys.
And the
right?
boys.
And the boys. And he's got, I think he's the 6-man, one part of the 6-man tag team champion with 2 other guys. And then he's got 2 other guys. And what happens is these guys kneel down in the ring and he uses them as steps while 2 hold his hands as he walks into the ring. Love it. I'm telling you now, it's really, really, really good.
Well, who was our boy who did that? From Ballarat.
I don't know. Ballarat.
You know, our boy. And his brother worked with us as well.
You're talking about Mozart.
Yes.
Mozart,
yeah. He sort of did that character.
Yeah, he did that character.
And he did it fairly well. Like Mozart was good.
He looked like a girl, mate, when he used to drop that.
It's almost like the pigtaily thing.
Yeah,
and and the mirror, and he did it very well. And he
did it very well. No. He used to walk out. We had this football thing on top, the football helmet and that. And he looked like he was about 6'5" tall when he walked out with this big black robe on. Never forget, he went away from it. And I said to him, apparently somebody stole his gear.
Oh,
that's what happened. But he had this, and he would come out like this thing was sitting on top of his shoulders, and it was another foot above his head. Yeah. So he was looking out through the dressing thing.
Yeah.
And when he'd walk out through the crowd, people would go, "Oh my God, this guy's about 6'9" tall." And then he'd pull it all off, and he's 5'9", skinny as, wearing a dress. And that was hilarious. And I worked with him many times.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I can't remember many times. Never had a bad match with him.
No, he was always good, and a top bloke too.
Yeah, top fella. Yep, top fella. And
he's listening. Hello to you.
Yes, if you are listening, Paul, love your work.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was good at it. Like I said, but I don't mind that kind of thing. But going back onto this Super Diva, he's shit.
Yeah.
I watched him work the other day, and he was working against, and I can't think of who he was working against, but the guy looked good, sharp, looked like he knew how to work, and that guy was in every spot he was wrong. That Quincy guy, he was just everything was wrong. I'm thinking, how are you there? But he was a good worker, absolute good worker,
Yeah.
And when he's pulling that gimmick, even with that physique, I'd say I don't care. If you're doing the job, great, but he can't work neither.
Nah.
He's not even that good on the mic.
No, well, even today, like Shotzi had sort of interrupted it. Well, that Leah Lash or whatever, but yeah, he didn't really even get to say much. I mean, as a co-host, he never really did anything.
Well, actually, he tried to have words with Jim Cornette. He tried to have a verbal joust with Jim Cornette recently. That's dangerous. And Jim Cornette gave it to him. Because what happened is I think Jim said, look, he can't work. Have a look at him. He's no good. And then that Quincy, Super Diva Quincy, whatever his name is, put a picture. He changed his profile picture and put Jim Cornette's wife up there in the picture.
Oh.
And his dog.
Oh.
And Jim got stuck into him, mate. Stuck into him big time. So, and then after that all went down, and he liked, Jim's missus like stuff and that kind of thing, and started sucking up. But he seems like a bit of a dick. I don't know. I don't know how he's there. I don't know why he's there.
Maybe he's one of those ones they put that makes you keep watching to see what the hell they're going to actually do with them.
Maybe. I don't get it. It looks like Mark Henry and friggin' Mabel had a child. So,
my Lord.
Get a chance, check him out. He's not good. Not good at all.
I did see him. Was it last NXT he was on? Because I do watch.
Yeah, he worked. He worked the last NXT.
I don't watch it every week, but I do keep a bit of an eye on it.
He worked the last NXT. Yeah. I can't think of who he's working now, but the guy was a sharp worker. He looked all right, good physique, good look. Yeah. Maybe a little bit bland on the charisma, maybe, but this guy just so many mistakes he did in the ring while he was working. I'm thinking, my God, you're all over the place, son, and and they're talking about pushing him to the top roster.
Really?
Yeah, serious talk.
Oh, no, mate.
Because they're bringing him up. They're bringing him up all the time through the commentary of Raw and SmackDown.
Oh dear.